How's it going, guys, and thanks again for tuning into this channel. And previously I have reviewed a bunch of GVM lights here, the latest releases, and I have another brand new release for you guys. Today we're going to be talking about the GVM 1200D. Now, I understand this video here exceeds like almost 30 minutes, but I respect your time. If this video is this long, it's because I'm trying to compress every single possible thing that you want to know about this light. And I'm very confident that this video is going to be the most complete, the most comprehensive review on YouTube regarding the GVM 1200D. So please sit back and relax, don't skip anything. Just treat this video as if it was like a live video kind of thing, because some of those videos, they are over 2 hours long and you guys watch it anyway. And also, according to my analytics, actually my audience seems to be watching the whole entire thing, and I thank you very much for that. And before I continue here, I'm gonna tell you up front everything that's gonna be taking our time here. I'm gonna explain this whole light from top to bottom, how to connect the app, explaining the Bluetooth, showing you guys the effects. Every single possible thing you want to know about this light is going to be in this video here. And also a quick disclaimer, GVM has sent this light for free, and of course I get to keep the light, but nothing is controlled by GVM. Is whatever I want to say. That's how I feel like talking about the light here. So all I do is upload the video, and that's pretty much it. I got you guys another brand new light. This is actually replacing the 50RS, one of the most popular GVM lights, and this is the 1200D. So you have the 800D, they made the Mark 1, no effects or anything, and then they came up with the 800D Mark II, which has the effects and whatnot, and then they just released the 1000D, and the 1200D is actually replacing the 50RS. As you can see here, this light has the flood type LED diodes here, while this one here, as you can see, has lenses, which helps to project the light further away in case you need to light subjects or things from a larger distance. This light here spreads the beam, I think about 120 degrees, I'm not sure, but this one here, it narrows the beam a little bit, and also again it provides a further travel with light because the LEDs this way they're more concentrated, so when you aim the light over there it's going to be brighter. And the 50RS still uses the old Wi-Fi system in which you access with the GVM Easily app, which is the Wi-Fi only application, and now GVM made a GVM Mark II app, which is for the Bluetooth. I've been asking GVM for years, when are you guys going to be finally launching Bluetooth capable devices here, and they finally listen. So with the Wi-Fi applications here, as long as you're connected to its internet, you don't have any internet whatsoever in your phone, so nothing comes in, nothing goes out. It's like a firewall kind of thing. Now with the Bluetooth app, that's another story, because you can still connect to the light and still have your internet open. Anything you want to do in your phone, or send, receive emails, anything internet related, your phone internet is open. So with this light here is even better, because you can also control the effects simultaneously, which is not possible with the Wi-Fi system here. So absolutely everything that you can do with this light here, the application will let you use the Bluetooth, including controlling the effects, the CCT, the RGB, every single thing. And another thing, with the Bluetooth application, you can actually put the application temporarily on the back while you're checking a couple emails, and when you put the app back on the foreground, actually on your phone, everything is exactly the way it's left, nothing changed, and then as soon as you touch the application again, the light responds like you just launched the application. And connecting to the Bluetooth is very easily, there's no IDs to memorize, there's no Wi-Fi name and password to switch or mess around with. Another cool thing to point out, with every single GVM Bluetooth lights that they're releasing, they're also improving the display big time, as you can see. I'm not sure if this is an OLED display. If it isn't, it doesn't matter. What matters is that the numbers are bigger, it's black and white. I was actually tired of looking at that old school blue background with a little tiny white text that's very difficult to see the numbers. Now from a distance you can actually see what's going on here, and at any angle that you look at this, the numbers are clearly displayed. The contrast is designed to be looked at any direction, up or down. The numbers are here, which is great. So at any distance or any angle, you're gonna see these numbers here. Another cool thing that I noticed with these new panels they are making here, as you can see, there's like, 2 tabs on each side here, which is probably designed to attach another accessory here, which I do expect GVM to be working on something, because there must be a reason why these tabs are here, even if they release ND little panels here to reduce the intensity of the light if you need something even less than 1%. The light right now is set to 1%. There are other lights that GVM makes that the 1% is even dimmer than this one here, but this one here, this is the exposure that you get. So I'm actually going to be sliding a gel. It's not really the proper thing to do here because the gel is very soft, and I hope it doesn't fall, but as you can see, you can actually slide the thing here and it will stay. So let me see if I can actually tilt this here, and you can't do it. As you can see, this is not rigid enough, so I actually really expect GVM to be working on something to be serving the purpose of these little tabs here, because as far as I know, there's nothing that I heard that GVM is making. And the reason why I have this ND filter here is to attenuate the light source. For example, the 1%, I can actually make it now to 0.5%. And also to show you guys the layout and pattern of these LEDs here, because each light they have a different way to put the LEDs here. So when I turn on this light, the daylight looks like this, and also the other lights, they look like this. It's like a bunch of little straight little things there. And on the RGB mode, as you can see, the LEDs, they look crooked, the line, but they're not crooked. So here's a better way to show you what I'm talking about. The lights, they don't appear straight is because the sequence here of like maybe 5 or 7 RGB diodes, they actually made ones this way, and the next ones here, they actually flip it upside down, and then the next row here on the same line, they actually flip it back up again. And I've seen other manufacturers doing this. I guess the reason for this, I think maybe it provides a more even light effect as far as the output goes. I mean, there must be a reason, because this is a brand new release from Luxley, and this light here, actually they did every single one of the RGB diodes, every single one. The other one is like this way, the other one they flip it down, the next one they flip it back up again. So this is why these lines, they appear to be crooked. It's not a defect, it's because they decided to make some LEDs this way and another group inverted and the other one back to normal. So another thing that I gotta show you guys, that it's been vastly improved with GVM lights, not only the 1200D, the 800D, the 50RS, the Mark II ones, the GVM R50R, 288, 2L, all those lights, they are doing the same fantastic thing, because previously everybody was complaining because when you change the colors on the RGB, for example, when you start dialing, the colors are jumping. You know, it was blue and then boom, jumps to green, boom. Nobody liked that, neither did I. So look what they did here. So right now I'm at 10%, which is pretty low percentage, because on the old lights at 100% the jumping wasn't so bad, but you know, at 10%, I'm actually at 10% here, as you can see. So I'm actually gonna be dialing the hue here, and as you can see, it's pretty soft, pretty smooth. The transition is a lot better. And the lower the percentage, the more problematic or the more pronounced that effect was. That's undesirable. No more. As you can see, I'm dialing through all the colors here. So when we actually crank it up, it's even better, it's even smoother. Now even at 5% here, let's see what happens when I start dialing it up or down. So it's still pretty smooth, but this is actually a very low intensity, so expect an occasional kind of micro little jump. At 1%, most lights, even from other brands, I don't think they can actually keep up with the smoothness, unless you're talking about a very expensive panel. You would say it's silly to me to say that, oh, the barn doors included. Actually, there is one exception. The GVM R50R 288 2L does not come included with the barn doors, but all these lights, they do come included with the barn doors. And talking about barn doors here, they also improved the way that you actually replace or remove or change the barn doors, because the very first 50RS was a nightmare to get these barn doors out of here. Now, as you can see, they made it a lot easier. So the new barn doors, the holes actually align here perfectly, so effortlessly you can actually unscrew these 4 screws here and remove the barn doors. And for about a year and a half, compared to the very first edition of the GVM 50RS here, for example, it was very difficult to remove the barn doors. Now the threads here and the screws, they coming a lot thicker, easy to work. The threads, they're more robust, they don't strip easily, but it was still required to use a little Allen wrench here. I just wish they had a little toolless screw in which you don't need any tools. All you gotta do is unscrew with your fingers here and the barn door comes out. But it's not that bad compared to the way it was before, and all you gotta do is put back the screws, you're good to go. Also keep in mind, this is not a Fresnel light. The lights that you can actually adjust the focus, the flood and spot, and also the barn doors that they come with those lights, such as the ARRI lights. They're huge. So these barn doors here, they can actually cut the light a little bit, but don't expect a miracle, because first, the length of the barn doors here, they don't cut a lot of light unless you extend this thing here to twice as much. To wrap something around here, it can be like a cinefoil, which is the professional way to do this, is a black aluminum. It's called cinefoil. Or you can actually put anything here, some kind of an Elmer black foam here, whatever it is, to make these barn doors, like, to cut more light. And another thing, since these LEDs here, they don't have a lot of diffusion, as you can see here, so when you use these barn doors here, when you start to close them like that, you're gonna see a little bit of artifacts showing on the background, for example. So as soon as you add more diffusion here, you're gonna actually smooth out the transition. So when you actually close the barn doors, you're not gonna see any weird artifacts on the background because the light is more diffuse. Also to keep that in mind. Now these barn doors here, they're made of plastic. I actually like plastic as long as it is well made, because as you can see, they are very difficult to break unless you smash this on the ground and then don't expect it not to break, right? But as far as I know, this is a very hard ABS plastic, so I don't see this thing breaking as long as you don't do anything stupid with the light. And the metals, they can actually bend. Once you bend the metal, it's going to be very difficult to bring it back to the original shape, because once that's bent, it is what it is. But this one here, if you bend, it automatically unbends. So I kind of like the plastic, and also makes the light lighter. Also notice that these lights can actually be mounted this way or this way here, so you can actually use the full articulation of the barn doors, because if you place the light this way here, there will be a lot of restrictions because the light will not pass this point. So again, when you mount the light this way, you can actually use the barn doors in full. Now when you use the effects with the new Bluetooth system, you can actually control the effects simultaneously with all the lights. With the previous Wi-Fi, it's only limited to the light itself, so you have to manually come back to the rear panel of the light and select the effect that you want. I don't know why the Wi-Fi doesn't let you do that, but the Bluetooth, if you want to change the effect. Now they don't play absolutely synchronized, but the party here, for example, is kind of cool that, you know, it changes like to a different color each and every one. So when you delay the change, for example, every 1 second, they display different colors. So don't expect them to synchronize precisely. Even if you turn off the light, if you start the whole thing again, they're never going to be synchronized, but at least you can actually use the effects through the app, and it wasn't possible to use the Wi-Fi system. And I'm going to show you guys the back panel of the light here. Do I really have to do this again? Yes, I guess so, because this light is slightly different than the Wi-Fi ones as far as accessing the effect. So let's go with the back panel here. And here's the back of the panel. The brightness levels go from 0% to 1% increments all the way to 100%. And on the right is your color temperature from 5600 degrees Kelvin all the way to 3200 degrees Kelvin. And if you want to set this light to a particular color temperature such as 4200 degrees Kelvin, keep in mind that this light's going to be twice as bright, because both lights, the tungsten and the daylight, is going to be on at the same time, which is also going to drain more battery and is going to cause you to want to change the exposure on your camera. On the GVM 1200D, this up and down arrows here control your channels only. The other GVM lights, such as the 50RS, the up and down arrows also controls the effects, but this one here is only limited to the channels, which, by the way, this light does not have a channel 00 available. You start from channel 01 to channel 12. You can also press and hold or keep tapping each individual click here. I like to keep this light at channel 1, and the slave ones also at channel 1, of course. The back display here also comes with a battery gauge. I'm not sure how accurate that is, but it does come with some sort of a battery gauge here. And the mode button here, you can go from rotate, which is similar to master, and then slave, and then master, and then app. And when I set the mode to app, this is when you're going to see the Bluetooth ID of this light popping up on your phone. Otherwise, it's not going to be detected. Now to go from the CCT mode to the RGB settings, all you have to do is press this button quickly once. Here's your RGB, and this button here still controls the brightness, and this one here controls the hue. Press it once again. Here's your saturation from 100% all the way to 0. Now to access the effects on these Bluetooth lights here, the procedure is a little bit different than the Wi-Fi lights. On the Wi-Fi lights, you have to keep pressing this button here until you see the effects, and then to change the effects, we have to press the up and down arrows to change the effects. This particular Bluetooth lights here, you have to press and hold for several seconds, and then you see the effects here, and the effects cannot be changed by these arrows any longer. So you have to keep pressing this button quickly now. So right now we are effect 01, 02, 03, 04, all the way to 08, and then goes back to effect 01. To exit the effects, press and hold again. It takes you back to the CCT mode or RGB, whatever setting they were before. You want to go back to the effects again, press and hold for several seconds. To get out, again, press and hold. So after all the stuff that I said here, let's talk about the stuff that really matters, the light performance. Just in case you want to use this light as a key light and you don't happen to own or afford or whatever the situation is, you don't happen to have a true soft box with the dual diffusers and everything. You want to know how this light will look like as a key light. The way it is right now, there's not a whole lot of diffusion going on here, so you might need to have another extra diffusion to make the shadows a little softer in your face. And also the main key to obtain a very good source of key light is to make the light light source as big as you can. I've been doing this for a long time. If you allow me to tell you a couple tips here how to obtain the best key light for you as far as softness goes and everything. And as you can see, this panel is still a rather small source of light, and also there's not a whole lot of diffusion going on here. So the first thing you have to do is to put one diffuser here, and the farther the distance is from this LED lights, the softer the light is going to become, because it's going to allow a certain distance for the lights to diffuse better. If you put the gels very close to these LEDs, although you can, but it's not going to be providing a lot of diffusion, so allow a little distance here. And you can also place a secondary diffuser by using a little C47, which is the clamping, those little closed pins on the barn doors, and then you have a double diffusion. And again, keep in mind, this is a small source of light. So if you actually have the light, I don't know, about 7, 8, 9 feet from you, this is still going to become somewhat a semi-hard light. Just like the sun is 93 million miles from the earth, it looks like a hard light. If you bring the sun close to 10 million miles, everything here is going to be very soft, and your shadows on the pavement is going to be also diffused because the sun is a lot closer. It's a bigger ball, right? So the second and best way to diffuse this light is to have those cheaply, readily available, one of those discs that you fold, put it back in the bag, a 40-inch, a 50, a 60-inch. All you have to do is to crank up the light a lot higher than this, because keep in mind that the more things you put in front of this light, the light is going to be cutting off, because of is a body in front of the light, so the light is actually hitting the thing, right? So let's say that even if you have to crank the light at 100%, I don't see a problem, because everybody nowadays shoot everything at f1.2, and the sensor of the cameras, most of them, they are 800, 850 native sensors. If they let you shoot at f0.1, if there was such thing, you would probably do it. So as far as light intensity, this light for a 50-watt panel will provide you plenty of light output if you want to put the light behind the disc here. So eventually you're going to have to put this light up good 5 feet away and have a large source of light. And this way here you can actually have a very nicely lit subject with gorgeous soft light. This softbox here is not even that big, it's only 24 inches. But it has 2 diffusions and the light is more directional. But if I put a 60-inch or 45-inch light here, this whole thing here will turn to another level. So the bigger the light source and the closer it is to you, the softer the light is. And just like these panels here, as to expect, a little quick look at the external hardware here. Of course, this is not made of glass, it has to be made of some kind of acrylic, so this is plastic. And on the back of the light here is the usual aluminum here, including the yoke and also including the 5/8 spigot, which is very important to be metal, which it is made of metal. And also the little battery compartment here, everything is made of plastic. So everything here is metal, and you have a cool GVM logo here that lights up in the back when you actually turn on the light. Another cool thing that these GVM panels do is because, for example, this one here is set to master, this one is set to slave. Let's say that you need a break here and shut off the light. As soon as you power this light back on, you don't have to come here again and set it into master or whatever. It remembers everything. So as you can see, the light is responding. I can go to the RGB. When I shut off the light, let's see what happens. It's back to master and back to RGB, as you can see. So it memorizes everything, so it makes this very convenient for you. So you want to turn the light back off, turn it back on, it's still on the same setting. You want to go back to the CCT, just a couple presses here and good to go. And the switch on the back here can be a little bit delicate, so avoid doing this. And just like, you know, when you switch to AC, just switch it this way and then turn it off, wait a couple of seconds and then turn it back on this way. You avoid breaking things or wearing things out. Now the beautiful thing about this dual switch here is because the electronic circuitry is isolated. So when you are running the light on AC, it's completely separate than when you're running on DC. Some other lights, they only have the on and off switch, which means dangerous current can actually flow where the battery goes here. So the voltage, the current that can flow here has nothing to do with the necessary voltage to charge your battery. So that's going to be actually damage your battery. So again, this light here for having a dual on and off switch, when you're actually having your batteries here, when you run through the DC adapter, the batteries are not receiving current that they shouldn't be receiving. So it's absolutely safe to run your batteries here even when you're not using these batteries. If you have any other type of LED lights, brand or model, if you have just the on and off switch, make sure you do not have these batteries installed when you're actually running on the wall here, because again, current is flowing here and it's damaging your battery. Now I think the Sony batteries here, they can be rather heavy, so when you actually loosen the panel, expect the panel to collapse back this way. And also, depending on how you're using these knobs here, when you move the light forward like this, they can actually self-tighten itself. So when the light starts to tighten itself, just make sure you give a little slack here to finish the position that you want with this panel, so you don't actually break anything here, because you're dealing with a lot of plastic here. Another cool thing you can do with this power supplies here, look how I keep my power cord and my actual power supply, everything back to factory, the original banding and everything. I like to keep my equipment brand new and very neat and tidy. And this is the actual power supply. What I did here is to get two velcros here. So you want to put the soft part of the velcro here first, and then you loop another velcro the opposite way, right? And on the back here, you can even use one of those window weather insulation, the very soft ones, or any furniture self-adhesive little pads, which adds grip to the pole here. So when you actually install this here, it's this simple here. So you just firmly press this against the pole, and then there you go. And then you can actually put the power supply here. And in case you need more wire here, all you have to do is to unvelcro just the part that you need, and then you can actually velcro the rest here, which makes you look a lot more professional on the set and with the impression that you're not a lousy person. You know, neatness goes a long way with also being professional, not only knowing what you do with your lights, but the way the equipment looks in front of a client. So here I want to show you guys something that GVM also improved, because every single old GVM lights, the saturation, as long as you pass down 90%, everything looks like pretty much near white like this, right? So these lights here, the other new GVM lights also, they have the same improvement. The 800Ds, the 1200D, the R50R, 288 lights, all these lights, they also have these improvements here. So right now I'm at the saturation 100%. Hopefully you can see that. So here's my red. I'm gonna change it to 90 saturation. It's still red. When you change to about 80%, is start to get pink, which is good. It's not white yet. And then at 70%, you still get somewhat pink here. Now anything below this is gonna fall to white almost instantly, but it was a major improvement, the fact that you can actually do this. So let me dial another color here, for example the green, and then go to the saturation. I'm putting the gel here so it actually displays the diodes properly on the camera there. So saturation is at 100%. Now I'm going to decrease the saturation. Right now I'm at 83%. 70%. And then probably 50, 40, and then that's when it starts to get white here. So pretty good. One important thing to keep in mind, these are the Wi-Fi lights and these are the Bluetooth lights. Every slave here, which are these two, they're set to the same channel, 0101, set to slave, slave, and this one to master. As you can see, when you change here, everything goes as planned, but this one here, it still remains unchanged because it's a Wi-Fi system. Even if you set the channel the same as the other one here, as you can see, it's not compatible. So Wi-Fi with the Wi-Fi stuff and the Bluetooth with the Bluetooth stuff. Regardless if you're not using the app, again, even if you set this lights to slave, the center channels as this slave here, nothing's gonna happen. Now when you have a little Bluetooth part here, along with the other lights here, so this is set to master, channel 1, slave channel 1, and slave channel 1, as you can see, CCT mode, RGB, brightness, and the colors and everything. Everything changes, and it's like instant, right? And even the effects now, you can't do this with the Wi-Fi units. The press and hold here has the effects. Again, they don't synchronize, but you can actually play the effects on every single one of these lights. And the police car, and the fact that it's all randomized here, you can actually even have a more realistic effect. Let's go to the party mode. There you go. I like the fact that they're all playing different colors instead of synchronizing everything. I mean, I wish to synchronize, but you know, this is fine as well. It's just the effect, you know. Now when you change the time here, that's what happens now. They don't change everything exactly the same. But another thing they should definitely make with this light is to kind of build a microphone in here, because if this can be sensed by sound, rhythm, DJs will be buying this light as well, not only filmmakers, you know. So that's going to be another thing that GVM should definitely take in consideration in hooking us up with. Just so you know, another interesting thing here, this is actually a Bluetooth light as well that GVM just released. This is the GVM RGB 100W, and I'm actually controlling it through the app, on the Bluetooth app, of course. And all these lights here, they're set to slave. And the reason why the other lights are not responding from this light here being the master actually is because there's no master slave option on this light. So when you actually get this light, it's going to be on its own little world here, being controlled separately by the same app. I'm not sure what's going to happen if you have two or more of these, if they're going to be probably synchronized and do the same thing. I'm not sure. But just so you know, they're not going to synchronize with the bigger lights, if you will. Now, as long as you have actual panels like this here, once you have the things properly set up, they're all going to respond again. You can change the colors, set to the CCT, RGB, and all that stuff. You know, I can dial in the colors, brightness up and down. You know, all this light will work perfectly in harmony. Now, to connect this thing here is super easy. No more Wi-Fi ID password, none of that nonsense. You just launch the GVM Mark II GVM LED here, and then it says unconnected. Click on a little Bluetooth on the top right, and then wait until you see the light appear here. I set this one here. Oh, the reason why it's not appearing is because we have to set to the app. Now it's gonna pop up. BT LED right on the bottom. Connect, connecting, boom. You have to wait until this little sign go out, and then you can connect your lights like this. That's simple, super easy. Let's say they want to quit the app completely, out. Then launch it again, skip this thing here, BT LED connect. They appear sometimes in several different places, but there you go, connected again. So on the app here with the top left, you're gonna see this little gear icon, which is your settings. Click on that, you have the ability to engage the vibration on and off, sound on and off. I usually like the sound off on this particular application because they use the same sound as when you send the iMessage text. It goes like whoop, whoop, whoop. It's kind of annoying, so I have it set to off. Now the beautiful thing about having the Bluetooth connection, because you can still check for updates because you're not stuck with the lights Wi-Fi the old way, right? You can still receive emails and whatever. Your internet is open. It's a beautiful thing. About us, if you have a problem with these lights here, whatever that is, email these two things. If you bought it from B&H, email this guy. If you bought it from Amazon, email this guy here. And exit system, you just exit, Bluetooth disconnected, the app quits. Launch it back again, it's the same thing, skip this add thing here, and then wait for the BT LED. They appear in different locations sometimes. Click connect. It's a 2-second thing. Connect, wait until this thing goes away, and then you can control again your intensity. I want to make sure it's at 1% so you don't blow anything up there. Temperature from 5600 degrees Kelvin all the way to 3200. Then jump to the HSI. Here's your control there, and I'm gonna be tapping. You're gonna see how fast that is. With the Bluetooth, there's almost no delay. Everything is fast. Boom, da-dum, da-dum. Love it. Then you can control your brightness here. Again, I want to go to 1%. Your saturation levels. Right now, everything is set to channel 1. Let's say they want to jump to channel 2, and then you can actually control one light individually with the brightness or whatever. And then to restore everything back, just to go back to the channel they were before, now all the lights are controlled again. So as you can see, there's minimal delay, almost nothing. Pretty fast compared to the Wi-Fi. It's really nice. Now the scene mode, for the first time you can actually access through the app, whether it is lightning or the cop car or the TV. And on my scenes here, you don't have anything recorded yet, because let's go back to the scene here. You see on the top this little diskette little icon here. Let's say, for example, you want to go to the party mode. The default is at 100 milliseconds, and then you want somehow the light to be changing at only 1 second, for example. And then you gotta click on this diskette little icon here on the top right. And then you save to whatever you want. You know, my disco. Bam. Hit OK. Now it's going to appear on my scenes. You can actually edit the thing, edit the name, or play the thing for example, let's go back to Lightning here, and then go back to my scenes. As soon as you hit the play, it's gonna go back to the party thing, the disco, whatever the thing is. And then you can also delete the thing completely, and then it says no scene yet. So this whole application is extremely easy to use. Now let me quit the app again, and let's launch this again. I'm doing this because on the shoot, I wanna know how reliable or how connectful this thing is. Again, connect, connected. Go back to my RGB, and everything is in business here. Now, if you want to check your email or whatever, I don't know, go to YouTube, for example. After you're done doing this stuff here, you can actually go back to the GVM app, and the whole thing is going to start like you never put this thing on the background. As you can see, the whole thing responds. You can actually turn it off, turn it back on. So I give a 10 out of 10 for this app here because the thing doesn't crash as far as this update version goes. I don't know what they're gonna do next, but so far it doesn't crash. It responds quickly. You can actually quit the app, it connects instantly. And so I'm pretty happy with this, and I'm sure you're gonna be as happy because the thing just works. So that's the end of my review. If you like what you saw, please be cool to give me a thumbs up, which tells me that I'm doing a good job here. And also, if you want to leave a comment, I make sure to reply to everything that I see there. And some of these links, they might be affiliated from Amazon. I make a tiny little commission on that. That doesn't cost you anything extra. But if you buy from those affiliated links that are provided in the description, you're going to help me create more videos like this. So once again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.